I failed for missing one homework assignment. The boy next to me missed 6. His dad coaches the football team. I was staring at the grade posted on the classroom wall when my stomach dropped through the floor. My name was listed under the failing column with a red circle around it. The paper crinkled as I ran my finger across the row to check the homework completion section. One missing assignment out of 15 was marked next to my name. I looked at the name directly below mine and my hands curled into fists. Bryce Holloway had 6 missing assignments listed in his column. His final grade showed a solid B+ in bright blue ink. The bell rang and I flinched so hard my backpack slid off my shoulder. I grabbed the strap and pulled it back up while still staring at those numbers. Mrs. Langford was erasing the whiteboard with her back turned to me. My jaw was clenched so tight I could hear my own teeth grinding together. I walked to her desk and dropped my grade printout directly in front of her keyboard. She looked up at me over her reading glasses with one eyebrow raised. I pointed at the failing mark and then pointed at Bryce's row on the wall chart. Her pen tapped against the desk 3 times before she responded. She explained that participation and extra credit factored into final grades differently for each student. My throat tightened as I watched her shuffle papers to avoid eye contact with me. The door opened behind us and Coach Holloway walked in wearing his red team jacket. His keys jangled against his hip as he crossed the room toward us. He clapped his hand on Mrs. Langford's shoulder and asked if everything was okay in here. She immediately smiled and said everything was perfectly fine. My printout was already sliding into her desk drawer before Coach Holloway even turned to look at me. I assumed there had to be a legitimate explanation hidden somewhere in the grading system. The school prided itself on fair academic standards for all students equally. I spent that night logging into the parent portal and pulling every single grade from the semester. My laptop screen glowed in the dark as I compared assignment by assignment between my record and what I had seen. I clicked print and watched 15 pages slide out onto my bedroom floor. The numbers proved exactly what I suspected was happening in that classroom. I had submitted 93% of all assignments on time with passing scores. Bryce had submitted 71% with multiple zeros scattered throughout his record. I grabbed a highlighter and marked every discrepancy until the pages were covered in bright yellow streaks. My phone buzzed with a text from my friend who was in the same class. He sent a photo of his grade showing he also failed despite having only 2 missing assignments. I showed my mom the highlighted pages the next morning at the kitchen table. She set down her coffee mug and picked up the stack with both hands. Her eyes moved back and forth across the evidence while her jaw slowly tightened. She looked up at me. "We are going to that school today." I grabbed my backpack and followed her out to the car. The drive took 12 minutes, but neither of us spoke a single word. She marched into the main office and asked to speak with the principal immediately. The secretary picked up her phone and made a call while glancing nervously at the papers in my mom's hand. Principal Watts appeared in the doorway and invited us into his office with a strained smile. My mom dropped the grade comparisons directly onto his desk before she even sat down. Principal Watts picked up the pages and his forehead creased deeper with each one he flipped through. He reached for his desk phone and asked his secretary to bring Mrs. Langford to his office. We sat in silence for 4 minutes while the clock on his wall ticked loudly. Mrs. Langford walked in and her face went pale when she saw us sitting there. She looked at the papers in Principal Watts' hands and immediately started explaining about subjective grading criteria. My mom leaned forward in her chair. Subjective does not mean discriminatory. Mrs. Langford's mouth opened and closed twice without any sound coming out. The door burst open and Coach Holloway stormed in demanding to know what was going on. Principal Watts held up one hand and told him this was not his meeting to attend. Coach Holloway's face turned red as he backed slowly out of the room. The investigation took 3 weeks and pulled grade records from every student in that class. 7 other students had been graded unfairly compared to Bryce Holloway over 2 semesters. Mrs. Langford was placed on administrative leave pending a full review of her grading practices. My failing grade was changed to a B- based on my actual submitted work. Coach Holloway resigned from his position before the school board could take formal action against his involvement. Bryce transferred to a different school district the following month without saying goodbye to anyone. My friend who had texted me that night also had his grade corrected after the review finished. I walked into that classroom on the first day of the next semester and saw a new teacher writing her name on the board. She handed out the syllabus and pointed to the grading policy section, highlighted in yellow. Every assignment would be weighted exactly the same for every student without exception. I sat down in my usual seat and pulled out a fresh notebook.